There it is. Here we are. Coach Sofet, good morning to you. It is bright and early. Good morning to you, Bear Nation. As I get my voice back, we have Coach's Podcast today, week 2. Football season is well underway.
It is. We're doing this 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. And we have a little static on the line, but we're just going to get through it. Hello, Coach Sofet. Welcome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day. Oh my gosh, we may have to start over on this one. Do you hear that?
Don't bother me.
It don't bother you? All right. If it don't bother you, it don't bother me. Well, I wanted to congratulate you. What an epic win on Friday night. Last Friday night, you guys are now 1-1. Put up 50 points in your home opener. It was about a 3-hour and 40-minute absolute onslaught of athletic showmanship.
It was.
And I wanted to ask you, as always, how do you feel? You guys won 50-39 over Austin Achieve. I would say that's one heck of an achievement. Hello. And overall, I wanted to see how you're feeling about your players. You guys bounced back from a really tough loss in game 1. And that is not an easy thing to do. So I wanted to see how you're feeling about that. What are some of the things that you felt attributed to your ability to get your players to bounce back? And what adjustments maybe are you making? And how many questions can I ask you all at the same time? But I'm just impressed. And anything you have to say about this bounce back win and how you're going to move forward this week?
Well, first off, thank you for taking the time to do these podcasts. I think, people like to have an inside view of what we do. You said the word adjustments. I walked into the meeting room on Tuesday and was like, two words of the week: accountability and adjustments. Those were the 2 things that we were going to hit home all week. And every little thing, I think I even said it last week, every little thing that we aren't doing that we need to be doing right, we're going to run for, or you're going to be disciplined for. Like, I'm going to take care of it. We're not going to act the way that we acted last game. And again, it starts with me too. I had to look myself in the mirror first and say, hey, this isn't how things should go. I told them, leave the referees alone, leave the other team alone, plays over, turn around, line back up, do the next thing. And including me too. Sometimes you get caught up with every little call that's being made in different things. I know we won the penalty battle, 16 penalties for them, 6 for us. So we definitely cleaned that up. And that was something that I really wanted to clean up this week, was that part of it. Accountability is one of our pillars. I'm using it really big in the PE and athletic class as well, and really hitting it home with the kids, because and I told them, I said, I know we try to do a pillar a week. I'm doing like a pillar almost a month. Like, accountability is the word of the month, like for September. Right. And, we really I kept telling them adjustments, trust us. And a lot of the credit goes to the coaches. We game plan together behind the scenes, and we're like, hey, we got to fix this and we have to do that. And everything that we had put in worked, everything
clearly.
And I told the boys too, if you notice, we didn't punt. I was like, we're going to go for it. I'm confident in you guys. Yes. You guys have to be confident in yourselves too. Yep. And they liked it. They were like, okay, and I was like, hey, let's just keep going for it. I trust the defense. If y'all don't get it, we're going to do this. And then even there was 1 4th and 10, they all looked and I was like, we're not punting. Let's go for it. And then 80-yard touchdown run. Yeah. And those things, you gotta put the confidence in the kids that they, you kind of have their back. I did get upset at the referees one time on a call, but like I told them, I said, my kids are playing their butts off right now. I needed to y'all to make sure that that's not happening. Right. I need to, that can't happen to the defense who's playing the way they're playing right now. Obviously they scored some plays and they scored their points, but we were up 22-8. And then they went up 26-22. And I was like, man, that's not what I was expecting.
Right.
And then we never trailed after that. Once we took the lead into halftime, we didn't trail again. And it was just about maintaining that lead. But adjustments and accountability were the big things that preached. And they're the big things we're going to continue to preach this week. Because I think, with everything that we have going on this week, we have to make adjustments again because we're playing a new opponent. And we weren't perfect. We had things that we have to clean up on our end, watching the film and different things like that.
And it's so interesting that you're talking also about limiting distractions, staying in the moment, getting to the next play, and put the finger away. Don't blame. Let's move on. And I think I saw that on the field, and it was powerful.
And like I said, I think it had to start with me. I was the one that said, I'm going to leave the refs alone. Even sometimes with the coaches too, I was like, hey, leave me alone. Like, let's next
Yeah.
play. I got it. Let me talk to the officials. And I think sometimes you get caught up, like you said, distractions. I even put that in our PowerPoint last week. Limit the distractions, just practice. Like, quit talking to the trainers, quit talking to the managers, like just leave them alone. You guys need to be like locked in on what we're doing. And so, sometimes you just have to, in your head, you're like, they know that, but sometimes you have to actually tell them that to make sure that they get it.
Sometimes we need a reminder as well.
Correct.
It's not just next man up, it's next play up.
Yep, absolutely.
How do you feel about calling out some of your coaches? I don't think we've really mentioned yet your staff, and I don't know if you have a vision for maybe inviting them on the podcast at some points in time, but
absolutely.
Can you give them a little shout out so we can
hear
who you're working with?
Yeah. Like I said, it's not just me. I mean, it's not, there's a lot of things in the game day that do go in and a responsibilities on my shoulders. Like I said about the adjustments part, one of our adjustments that we did was we didn't come out till 6:00. We didn't do our pregame warm up at 5:15.
I noticed that.
We waited longer.
Right.
I thought we were maybe wore ourselves out last week. And I was like, let's adjust something. Let's try something different. This week we're traveling somewhere. We're going to leave a little bit later. We're not going to get there so early. And I think that did play a factor into it. And the warm-ups went well. Coach Freeman's our defensive coordinator. We made a big adjustment just scheme-wise on the defensive side. Right. We were subbing a bunch of guys in and out, and trying to make sure they get the reps that they need. Coach Mendez on the offensive side, he schemed a really good scheme for the week, and he showed it to me, new wristbands, new plays, and we work on them, and he's all into it. And, he's like, hey, coach, is the game plan for the week? I was like, you got your scripted plays? He's like, yep. I was like, all right. And like, we made an adjustment on our script and our walkthrough and everything that we did. It was different. It was different. Wow. Coach Jones, coaching the O-line and the D-line, we had him and Coach Walker come sit up here at the top, and kind of be able to give us, hey, man, bring in this guy. Hey, they're covering this guy out of the flat. Hey, what happened on that play? Who's not doing that? And they were able to give us like an eagle's eye view from the top that we didn't do last week. And so that was something that was key, and I kept my headset on the whole time. I know they came down to the field, but Mendez had his on, and I would back away. He'd be at the line of scrimmage. I'm like, hey, man, like this, they don't have him covered for the next play. Like, hey, let's do this. And so we were able to communicate better, I thought, overall, and we got Coach Walker, he does a lot with the receivers and helping with the offense and saying, hey, man, like I see that, but let's see if we can do this, and let's put this guy here. And like I said, Coach Jones coaching the O-line, D-line. After the warm-up, the O-line, D-line, we're ready to go. So like I said, it takes all of us. It's not just me, it's everybody in the room, because we definitely had to say, hey, man, it didn't work last week. Let's fix it. So, all of them, everything that they did and the work they put in, and already even into this week, like we're making adjustments again, like for the opponent that we're playing and the things that they do, but we always have our base of what we do in our back pocket in case those things don't work. But that's what football's about. You see what they do, and you got to scheme and against what they do. So,
yeah. And speaking of this week, this Friday night, who are you guys playing looking to make this 2-1 this season? Are you on the road this week? I think
we are. Okay. We are. We're on the road for the next 4 weeks.
Right. Bummer.
Yeah, I know. New Braunfels Christian Academy, who played them last year on our senior night. They got a new coach. They have new players. So they're 2-0 right now. It's a good challenge for us to go over there and go play them on Friday night, and see what we have and how we can bounce back again another week. It's easier when you I guess when you lose, you kind of look at it and say, hey, all right, let's restart and reset everything and go. But when you win, like, how do you build off that win? So I told them, hey, let's win. And again, the message was, we're 0-0 this week, guys. Right. We're not 1-0 this week. Like, we're 1-1 as a team, but every week our goal is to go 1-0. But when we're at practice, like yesterday, I was like, we're 0-0 this week. Like, we have to earn the one. So, let's pay attention to the details and everything that we do, from being on time to making sure, we're winning in the classroom, to make sure that we're doing all those little things. Like I said, and I said it last week, like, what are you doing outside of the football field that, how are you representing the program? So,
right. And speaking of which, we had a pretty hard hitting game on Friday night. You said there were 16-6 penalties. There were quite a lot of moments where we had to pause for some players to recover. Do you have any updates on those injuries? I think there are several people have mentioned around campus, like, I hope everybody's okay.
Everybody's okay.
Okay.
We got everybody back.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, it's good to see them back. We're glad Coach Sandoval's back, our athletic trainer. He's a
Right.
huge help in rehabbing all of our athletes and his athletic training program that he has to make sure everybody's upright, and
Right.
making sure that all the treatment and rehab and everything that they're doing, our guys are upright and ready to go for Friday, and even on Monday was like a day where I was like, hey man, like y'all need to get in the training room, y'all need to get seen, y'all need to make sure we're okay for Friday night. Yeah, like you said, it was about 3 hours and 40 minutes of that. It was 152 plays.
Unbelievable.
150. That was a lot of plays that I think we're used to seeing about 110 to 115. So like on a normal game, that where the clock's not running, like the clock's like stopping and different things like that. When they run the clock in the second half, there's not as many plays. But I was going through and I was like, man, there really was 152 plays. So, the kids grinded, they definitely was a grind, and they
didn't give up.
They didn't, and they definitely showed a lot of heart. Like I said, there's a lot of credit to go around. It was hard to this guy. I was just going around special teams, offense, defense. Like there was a lot of guys, and there was a lot of positives out of it. Sometimes you get caught up with man, we didn't do this right now, or we didn't do this right. But what about the times we did stuff right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and limiting the mistakes. We won the turnover battle too. I mean, we didn't really, recover fumble or get an interception, but they turned the ball over on downs two or three times, and we only did once. So that we won the turnover battle there. So important things: win the penalty, win the turnover battle, and you're going to more than likely win the game. So.
And I think you guys attempted 2-point conversions on every score. And
yeah, we did
every single time. And that just gives your team a lot of confidence. We don't need to kick. We're going to go score too.
Yep. Yes.
I love that.
That's part of the game.
Aggressive.
Yeah. Aggressive.
So we talked about obviously just some of the amazing play. I remember calling the game and thinking, obviously Caden Jones playing quarterback, and also seeing him on the other side of the ball is just like, how is this happening? I mean, I got to know Hakeem Griffin from working on our hype video. He came up when we did a meeting, but watching him play just was like, it felt like I was calling him out every other play on something. Obviously Benicio Pena-Waldorf, just spectacular players. Outstanding performances. Is there anybody else that sticks out to you that I'm missing, or that I wasn't calling over the PA as much, but you really felt like, wow, these are standout players right now?
Our defensive tackles, and I know it takes everybody, but Zayden Hernandez and Luis Rincon, I mean, I told the kids, if you had a 3 after your first number on the jersey, you were out there, like they were involved, and we were rotating that position. It was like near the end of the game, we were going 2 on, 2 off, 2 on, 2 off, and we were keeping our guys fresh. We're throwing some linemen in there at D tackle, and they get the pressure that they double team him and makes the D tackle get less what they're doing, but their push on the line, they really stood out to me because that's where we got beat up last week. They ran the ball right down our throats,
right?
And you have to, like you said, Benicio and Ethan Garcia is his right-hand man on there. There was one play in the game we had made a mistake on offense, and I pointed this out in film. When I say that they're locked in, we had 9 guys on the field on defense, and both Benicio and Ethan Garcia turned around to the ref and called timeout. And they're like, Coach, we only have 9.
Oh, wow. Awareness.
And 2 of the guys I was talking to on the sideline from offense, because we had screwed something up, the guys were playing both sides of the ball, and I was like, oh man. And I was like, just their awareness out there to be like, hey, this isn't right. Like, let's call a timeout before we give a free touchdown. Like, that's what they're there for. The timeouts are there for. So, I was thoroughly impressed with that. Like, one called it and then the others caught it and they both called it, like again, at the same time. Out there, we're getting knocked down, coming back up, especially with Ethan out there, man. He'd go down. He's like, I'm cramped. And I was like, all right, man, who's your replacement? He's like, nobody. I'm going back in. I was like, oh, okay. And so he'd go back in. And John Peoples is another guy. He was playing offense, defense, special teams. And I'm watching the film and I'm like, did you play like all 152 plays? And he was like, I think so. And I was like, all right, well,
gosh.
I'm like, dang, man, like you're out there like all the time. But I said, we're missing guys due to injury. Mm-hmm. We had some guys who were playing in the volleyball tournament. And then we had a couple guys that were unavailable. And it was just next guy up. I mean, it really was. And when you can have that, And even this week, we're going to be close to 100%, but we still won't be at 100%. So I'm excited to see what we'll be at 100%, but we're not there yet. And so we'll continue to work with the guys that are suiting up on Friday, and we'll continue to go from there. You know, like I said, I'm super impressed with their mindset and just talking with them throughout the week, and day-to-day stuff of how, you know, they're seeing it. They're like, hey, coach, the film from the other team, it's not up. And I'm like, I thought I shared it with y'all on Huddle, but them just being like, hey, like, we need to see this, like what you guys are seeing. And so just making sure that we're all on the same page going into Friday night. So
your players are clearly into it, showing initiative. I guess maybe to wrap this up, I wanted to turn the game around a little bit here. I mean, you know, watching the home opener was so special to me. We've done a couple of scrimmages, then you guys opened the season on the road. Most of us didn't get to see that game. So here we are. It's the big coming out party for your squad, and it's just unbelievable what Principal Oliver and what you have done to create the show that this has become. We've got a 20-foot bear head. We've got some pyrotechnics and smoke machines. We've got cheer squad, band, color guard. You've got, you know, Principal Corey and I up in the booth making some noise. We've got all kinds of stuff going on. How do you see the overall presentation? And are there any suggestions you'd give us about ways that you'd like to see it grow? I know it's a funny question, but I'd like to do this live on the air and just put myself on the spot, put all of us on the spot. I think a lot of people are working together. We've got the boosters and the concessions. We've got the people who come out to support. I mean, are there any areas that you'd like to see this grow? I mean, perhaps we could do more interviews. I don't know if that would get in your way.
Yeah, I mean,
sideline interviews.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that would probably be the only thing. You know, I think we've conquered the running out.
Okay.
I think we've conquered that with the big bear head. And like I said, we have two run out tunnels. We have the one for inside too, for our volleyball and our basketball team, so everybody can be part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is, you know, maybe we just have to run out of the bear head. We've played really good when we run out of the bear head.
So be it.
But you know,
so bear it.
Sorry. The band being there definitely is a different feel where you're about to kick off and they're playing their thing, hitting the drums and different things. Definitely gives you a different Friday night feel. Our band's going with us this week.
Okay.
So, you know, they're coming with us to New Braunfels to play and be part of, you know, supporting us and everything on a Friday night. So that's awesome. That's exciting. You know, I mean, man, we just keep adding stuff. You know, I'm sure something will pop in my head. Okay. You know, we've running out. You know, we got the coin toss down. You know,
we even had a live national anthem.
Yes, I know. We had the national anthem on the a live singing from one of our students. You know, and like I said last week, it's about the students. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's about.
Right.
You know, having our students with the yearbook with Coach Garcia and multimedia and recording us running out and being there for warm-ups. You know, even I let one of the kids in there, you know, for the pregame speech. And I was like, hey, you know, record it. I mean, this is about the kids. I mean, I know I'm going to do the speaking, but, you know, let them in there. And so, you know, we've accomplished a lot of the things with it, you know, the announcing, you know, there's music playing in between the quarters. I don't know. I mean, we do an awesome job. I'm sure we'll add more. You know, we have our athletic trainers down there with the tables with them.
They were busy.
They were busy, making sure everybody has the water. Parent volunteers coming down to help with the chains and those things. I mean, you just name it, and it's like it's an all team effort. There's a lot of things that go into the Friday night, and it's awesome when it all comes together.
It really was.
You know, sometimes you walk out in the field and there's nobody here, and then you walk out there and you see a Friday night, and it's like, oh, this is what it's about. At the end of the day, this is what you're doing. You know, I thought the pep rally was awesome too.
Right.
And so that's what kind of sets all that up. So, I don't know, man. I don't think. I think we're knocking it out of the park. We'll just keep
I
doing
would say so. And a little shout out to Coach Garcia as well, who's down there on the field capturing all of this live footage. I was able to be in one of her audio visual production classes, and she was showing us some of the footage that she got of you guys running out of the tunnel, the bear head.
All right.
And she's also got students down there coaching them as to how to get these angles and how to document things for the hype video. And it's just impressive to watch the whole thing.
It is. It's really cool too. So
well,
I got to run out of the bear head. They wanted me to lead them out. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I hadn't really run out. I kind of let them do it, but they were like, hey, coach, lead us out. And I was like, all right. So, you know, And we'll see, man. And we're always trying something different to see what we can do with the kids, and making it about them and what's going to pump them up. And I know I saw a different focus when we were about to run through the bear that I don't normally see out of them. Like just looking at some of the kids, and I just patting them on the shoulders, like, "You ready?" And there was like no response. It was just like looking at the field, and I was like, "Okay, they're ready to go."
Game face.
Yes, game face.
Like, I'm not even responding.
Yeah, they were ready.
Yeah.
So
thank you for letting me be a part of it. I cannot wait for our next home game. When is our next home game?
Our next home game is 10-10.
10-10.
Is our homecoming
All right.
game against Hill Country Austin, but we got 4 games in between there, and we'll just continue to do this podcast, let everybody know. We'll let everybody know New Braunfels Christian is probably the closest opponent of the next 4. So like I said, we're taking it a week at a time. I'm just worried about Friday, and I'll update everybody where we play the
and
next
is that
week.
7 p.m.?
It is 7 p.m.
in New Braunfels.
Yes,
at New Braunfels Christian.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Coach, for joining me. This has been a really fun, informal podcast, and I just think that it's so nice to hear your perspective, and to watch what you're doing out there is truly incredible. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you all for all your support. Come out on Friday night, New Braunfels Christian. Support us. If not, we'll send out a link. I think they're going to show the game live on their little huddle link, so we'll send that out to the school so everybody can support us through the computer.
Thank you, guys. See you at the next game.
All right, go Bears.
Go Bears.